Some people want to make a positive difference, maybe to the planet, to their lives, to the future. But does one person's actions really make a difference? Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Ken Ackerman. Joining us, Mike Mercer, Executive Director of Northwest Earth Institute. Thanks so much for being with us.
Glad to be here.
You know, it's really a mindset, isn't it? We all really want to do something good for the planet, for ourselves.
Sure.
But it's that whole thing, well, what am I going to do that's really going to make a difference?
Mm-hmm.
How do you educate people that it is going to make a difference?
Well, one, you try to educate them in a way that they can tie it to values that already are important to them. So it doesn't always, I don't always have to think about changing the world by myself, but I can make some changes in the world that actually have impact on me personally. It might have an impact on my family. And by doing those changes, I actually have a more collective impact. Because most of us can't comprehend the scale of the changes that we need to make. And so we say, I'm just not going to do it at all because it's too big, it's too impossible to do. So our take is you try to find ways that are already really important to folks and around the values that they already hold closely.
So Northwest Earth Institute, you create discussions about different issues. And tell me first about the discussions, then we'll move on to the next one.
Sure. We have a series of 11 or 10 different discussion courses. So they're around different topics around food, around health, climate, living more simply, any of those types of choices. And so what we do is we pull together content with more popular press authors because we want to make it accessible. If it's too academic and people feel like I'm just reading more data, it's kind of a little dull. So in small groups of people, 8 to 12 folks, whether they're in a workplace, they're in a faith community, neighborhood, higher education, of the different areas that we work. So they would come together, they would read some content, and then they come together and have a conversation about that content. And rather than looking at it from what should business do, or what should government do, or what should my next door neighbor do? It's like, what would I want to do? How do I respond to these issues? And do it in a way that's not judgmental, it's not prescriptive, and you walk away from that, you're one, more educated, you're feeling more inspired to do something about it because you see the stories of what other people are doing, and you can personalize it a bit, and then you actually act on it.
Now, what about those people that that need to act on it right away? You have something for them as well.
Sure, we have the Eco Challenge at ecochallenge.org, and that's going to start up here this fall from October 15th through the 30th. And that's a challenge where you take on a challenge, kind of one challenge in waste, water, energy, transportation, or food, or make up your own.
So give me a challenge. Give me an idea.
So it could be that I'm going to cut my water in half in terms of my water use, right? So I could do things from taking shorter showers. I could actually turn off the faucet when I brush my teeth in the morning. I could actually, we talked about this earlier in terms of actually eating less meat actually is a big contributor to the amount of water that we use. We may not see it immediately in terms of the amount of water that I'm using, but if I make a choice over here by eating less meat, I'm actually cutting back on my water pretty significantly.
All right, and then once you're doing that, you're going onto the site and posting what's happening or questions? What?
So most folks, depending on how they want to participate, they can participate as part of the NWI team if I'm an individual, or if I'm in a workplace or in one of those sectors that we talked about, and I want to participate with others that I know, because we know that change is also a social process, that I'm actually more likely to do things based on what other people around me are doing. So I would go online, I would create my profile as part of my team, and then I share my challenge with others.
So it's mostly teams?
Mostly teams. We have about 190 teams participating last year.
All right, so you have 2,000 participants is what you want this year.
That's what we love to
see. So you want teams, and to sign up, where do people go?
You go to ecochallenge.org.
All right, so registration is open, and ecochallenge.org is the place to go. And how long does it last? Well, registration will be all the way up through October 15th, and then the challenge itself runs 15th to the 30th, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right. Mike Mercer, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here on Comcast Newsmakers.